I am a recovered drug addict, and the reason I got my life back together has to do with my near-death experience, an experience I think of every day. I died of an accidental drug overdose about 5 years ago. At first, I started to feel very euphoric. I started to feel mentally sharper and feel an energetic tide building at my feet. I ignorantly thought, well, must be some kind of strong drug. But as the energy built up, I felt a tide like rushing water sweep through my body, and I felt my spirit body being pulled upward through the top of my head. In that moment, I knew this was my death, sweeping me off my feet, and the tide was so strong I could not stop it. I thought, this is it, and I can't turn back. Suddenly, a bright white light was above me, and I was being sucked towards it. Once I started to move towards the light, my sense of linear time seemed to fade away. From this point on, it's hard to describe, but everything seemed to happen in the same moment outside of time, at least for me. Thoughts raced through my mind, and I seemed to remember my life in unusual clarity. I felt a sense of peace, but also a detached sadness about my life. Above all the memories, a voice echoed through my mind. Go away from the light. I barely thought. I just immediately pulled myself to the right and out of the beam of light that was pulling me upwards. Suddenly, I was standing outside of my bedroom window, literally in midair. Behind me, inside the window, paramedics worked to bring me back to life, but I had no awareness of this whatsoever. Before my face was a giant hand. I immediately stopped, and behind the hand I saw a film like a bubble with vague shadows and lights behind it. I knew this was the next world. I was angry, and I'd been stopped, and I looked up to see who had stopped me. The being was so tall that I could not make out his face. It was very thin and grayish-brown in color, and it was difficult for me to see if it was slightly out of focus. Let me pass on, I demanded. I have the right to pass. The entity responded in my mind. Yes, this is true. But if you choose to pass on now, you will start this lesson over from the beginning. The question I asked in my mind was, when is the beginning? The answer from the form, the entity, but I felt my time to make a choice was growing short. What I can only describe as clouds of memories floated around me. One was of my family mourning me, the other was of me facing my life. I opened my eyes, feeling like I was freezing and burning, soaking with sweat, choking and crying. The paramedics were telling me that I had died and was being taken to the hospital. This experience changed my life for the better and helped me to place more value on life. Thank you for listening to my story.